Hi everyone, my name is Francesco Geronazzo, even though in Australia everybody calls me Frank. I'm Italian, I was born nearby Venice. I'm here in Australia in Margaret River since 2013 and I'm a passionate printmaker. Always loved printmaking since I was in high school. I had a very good teacher that during the drawing class he showed us the printmaking etching traditional method, and I really loved it since day one. I think he understood that, and he was letting me doing etching during the drawing class when I was 14 and 15. I always kept on exploring the process, and instead of buying a motorbike, I bought a etching press when I was 16, and since that day kept on doing it as much as I could. After high school I went to Bologna because the Academy of Fine Arts it's very strong with printmaking, because Giorgio Morandi was teaching there and other amazing masters. I've done 6 years of printmaking with different teachers that were all very good, and I've learned different approaches, let's say, very traditional and very experimental and contemporary. During uni I went to do a 7 months assistant period in Porto, in Portugal, and I was beside Graciela Machado, who's a very good printmaker in Portugal and Europe, and she also taught me different ways to do it, and I loved that period because obviously I also learned the language. Also when I was studying I went to Spain and I studied printmaking with José Manuel Guillem, who was a great lithography teacher and a great artist, and Miguel Ángel Ríos, another amazing artist. 2010 we started Officina della Stampa in Bologna. That was a printmaking studio that was offering classes. 2014, when I left for Australia, I really wanted to connect with the rest of the world, so I thought that was so important for me. So that's why, on top of loving nature, I came to Australia to learn the language and know more about the Australian printmaking environment. Connecting with the land is a project that I've started in 2020-21 to honor my introvert side, and also I guess my immigrant component of my identity, because it was a way to connect with the country and with the culture that I didn't know and potentially I still don't know as much. So conceptually I've just screwed metal plates onto my boots, and I normally go for walks in the bush, like 5 to 10 k's each, following different paths like the water path or the Wadandi track. It was a way for me to actually receive marks on the plate and then like sort of show them on paper. I really wanted to honor my two passions, which is bushwalking and printmaking. I call them quiet performances, after a chat also with a great artist called Jackie Chang, and because I believe that a performance is related to a public normally, but I'm normally by myself in the bush, walking solo. So that's why the name of quiet, even though the noise of the metal through the bush is actually not as quiet as a normal shoe. I normally love to print on great cotton paper, brand new, to honor the quality of what I do. At the same time, I also love to work on very old and used pieces of paper, old documents, notes, notebooks and maps and different kind of papers that I find or they find me. I like to think that sometimes paper finds you more than you find the paper, because I love the memory that piece of paper's got already, that sort of life that it's already gone and potentially would be thrown in the bin, but I like to give it life again and work with that memory. That's also an old series on local maps I found here from the Shire, and it's funny, I guess because my daughter, I've started to look at so many pink things around me because she obviously loves pink. And when I saw them, I guess I thought about that, and I thought about the combination of colors. And so it was a big change in my practice, because traditionally we just work with black. Since I've came to Australia, I guess I felt far enough from my teaching system and teachers, and I felt comfortable enough to explore the colors, and also colors that I would never choose before, I guess, having a daughter. These are again the cross sections of the baiga tree, and that's the core of the plant. So repetition is also a component on printmaking, even though we love unique states. And so that's why there was a sort of a presence of the local flora on top of these local maps. Recently, I loved the idea to start with a photo and then keep on working. So in these pieces, first of all, they're made on calico, which is of the fabric. And so I can stretch them on a structure like this, and then I start to work on them. Traditionally, after the print, you don't touch it. But this goes completely against that concept, because after the first print, that's where I start to work. When I start to add marks with charcoal or different lithographic crayons, and monoprinting and thread, which becomes a mark. I live on the piece as well. So it's a series called Surroundings, and they're all about the local area. It's just what I see every time I go bushwalking around here. So I don't use the photos just as a final piece, but it's just the starting point for me to keep on working with monoprinting and other traditional processes. You can obviously go big and then eventually sew them together, so you can actually make a very big installation. The fabric component opens up like an endless amount of opportunities, because obviously there isn't the limit of the press is not there anymore, because you can work on modules that can become like a full backdrop for a theater or something like that. Dada, which is an organization, they work with disability and disadvantaged people in the arts. So we did a 3-year project with them called Ink and Thread, because obviously we were doing printmaking, and the thread was about connecting with the communities. So I guess using the thread on what I do at the moment is also coming from that project, and also from the fact that I wanted to connect with Western Australia and the community here. It's also a way for me to leave a mark that is not made by an etching tool or printed. It's a direct action that I do onto the material. I love working in 2 dimensions, obviously on a metal plate. At the same time, working with shapes and sculptures. These are all casts, and that's the core of the plant, the grass tree called baiga or xantheria. And I don't know why I'm doing them, but I guess I'm just attracted to these shapes and to the texture that is actually very similar to the texture I love in printmaking. So there is a connection. Also historically, a printmaker was closer to a sculptor than to a painter, because a painter adds on top of the canvas, but we both, printmakers and sculptors, take off the matter of the plate or of the shape, let's say. So there is a similar approach for us, and that's why I guess naturally I got into sculptures as well. And I've done a project called A Temple for the Locals, funded by the farm Margaret River, which is a place here in town where they empower and promote ephemeral art projects. This is the section of the plant, and with this section I've done 8 columns. I want to generate a sort of a conceptual place where to go and meditate and look into yourself, like a proper church or a temple. Margaret River Printmaking, it's a place not just physical, it's a place where thinking and going beyond the normal conventional way to think, it's honored. And I normally offer classes here with different processes and in different art centers in WA. I also run printmaking retreats in Italy, and since 3 years now I'm bringing Australian people and from USA as well. to Italy for offering exclusive week-long events when they learn about printmaking and also about our culture, which is food, wine and art. And it's definitely growing every year. We also offer symposiums, which is a different format because it's by invitation. I normally invite an artist that comes and works with me, and we generate a body of work. Final project becomes a folio of prints of different artists that I normally try to release to society, to collectors and institutions. I believe that my teachers, they were very good printmakers and very passionate people. So I believe that if you're passionate as a teacher, it can be wrong. You really release passion in other people. Just inspiring other people by your authenticity more than you telling me what I have to do and I'll do it, because that's boring for kids and for adults. One advice I like to give to students and practitioners is being curious, very curious and very disciplined as well. Discipline these days sounds like a very strong and boring word, but it's a very important approach to have. It doesn't have to be every day very disciplined, but when some days when you work, discipline can help to reach a very good standard.